Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Let's talk about Lando.
Okay.
The show that we heard was coming, then they dropped into a time capsule and now it's surfaced again.
For real?
Maybe? Probably not.
Or are they altering the deal?
Pray I alter it no further. But new news on the Lando situation is Donald Glover's brother, Stephen Glover. They're teaming up. They're going to be writing the series together, according to The Hollywood Reporter. This deal that the two of them would be co-writing it was struck before the writer's strike. The thing is nobody told Justin Simon. He was the one attached to the Lando project for years.
Well, what has he been doing for years? One could ask.
Waiting.
Waiting for what? Permission to write? I don't know. I don't know the situation. I'm genuinely asking, what was he waiting for?
I don't know.
I mean, even if he wrote it and you can't get Donald Glover to film for a couple of years, it's still...
I think he did write it.
Okay.
All right, but let's get to the facts. Disney kind of announced in 2020 that this show was in the works. I mean, we have a logo and everything. It looked pretty nice. I liked it.
Yeah, it was announced at that big investor
Donald Glover
meeting.
Going to star in the series. He said, cool, let's do it. Everyone kind of liked him in Solo, even though the movie didn't do well at the box office.
He was good, Lando.
Then in a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, which isn't even that old, it's like a month old, Simon spoke with The Hollywood Reporter about the Lando project. He said he was uncertain about its future. He was still attached. He said, the last thing I was told was that they loved it, but needed to put a pin in it until they could figure out everybody's availability.
So did he write it and then they put a pin in it? And...
He had his draft, who knows what number draft it was, and they said, oh, we love it. Let's hold on to that because we're waiting on Donald Glover to say he's free. Remember, that's what they kept saying is Kennedy's like, we're waiting on Lando to be free, and Lando's like, I'm kind of not available, but maybe they should call me. And we're like, what's going on? So he definitely had stuff written.
And now they're just
they
scrapping
said they loved it, and they were waiting on it.
So we have to add him to the list of directors or writers that have been scrapped? I mean, it's a long list at this point.
And continuing on with his quote, in his words, I haven't investigated further, but I'm not an idiot. I'm not alone in that experience. But I can't help but wonder, am I too black? Am I too queer? And people just don't want to say that. Because it seems like I develop things with these companies and they just never happen for unknown reasons.
Well, why did they hire you in the first place, then?
I don't know. Didn't he? Well, he was just doing press interviews because I believe he was one of the writers on the Haunted Mansion movie that just came out with Disney. So he worked on that. He wrote Lando, and then they just kept him hanging around.
I mean, isn't it just easier to not hire somebody than to hire them and kind of let them kind of sit around and then... Mm-hmm. I don't understand.
Meanwhile, Donald Glover, who, along with his brother, Steven, they have a deal with Amazon. I don't know what their deal is with Amazon, what they've been doing with Amazon, and I didn't look into what they were doing with Amazon. But
Are they writing a show or something?
Donald Glover did indicate he was still interested in the project. In an April interview with GQ, he said, I'm not interested in doing anything that is going to be a waste of my time or just a paycheck. I would much rather spend time with people I enjoy. It just has to be the right thing, which I think it could be. Lando is definitely somebody I'd hang out with. We're talking about it. That's as much as I can say. And then they agreed to board the project together. And apparently the Lucasfilm brass was excited. What I kind of think is interesting is, did Donald Glover edge the other guy out? It kind of feels that way.
Brother's writing it now, right?
Yeah. I want to write this with my brother. I want to do this with my brother, and we'll do it if we get to do it together. Because they've been waiting on Donald Glover. He's the indispensable part of this.
He's Lando.
You can't
do Lando without Lando.
So they easily could have kind of held Disney hostage, I guess, at that point. Or held Lando. Donald Glover held Lando hostage, saying, I won't be Lando unless my brother and I get to write it together.
So Lando is renegotiating the deal now.
It sounds like he took a gamble. You want this project so bad, we do it my way. Which is a very Lando move, honestly.
No, it's like a Vader move. It's like what happens to Lando is happening. He's taken charge now. He's done with that.
I mean, they did sign all this paperwork before the strike, before the picket lines, because obviously they can't write now, even though the other guy kind of already has draft. What's interesting is why did they decide to announce this in the midst of the strikes? In the midst of the writer's strike and the actor's strike, when neither one of them can do anything, they're going to announce a project that may not happen.
But did they announce it, or is it just kind of coming out now? Sounds like this is all coming out now because they had already hired him before the writer's strike.
The Hollywood Reporter confirmed it.
Yeah, but what would have happened before the strike is what I'm saying. So this has happened a while ago, and now the news is coming out.
Right. Somehow the news has leaked out. But why even sign deals and stuff right before the writer's strike?
Well, I mean, it may not have happened, right?
The writer's strike might make all these things null and void.
I think it's going to make a lot of things null and void, but I don't know. It's such a weird thing because it was announced almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago at this point. And we've heard little to nothing? Yeah. Every now and then you hear Donald Glover say something, or Kennedy will be asked and be like, oh, yeah, we want to do that someday.
We still want to have that happen.
And that's been about it. So you kind of figured it was one of those in the Rian Johnson category. It's something that was announced, but don't expect it to ever happen.
Well, the original writer even sent out a tweet because he in real time when he found out it happened, he found the news out the same way everyone else did.
So they hired Donald Glover's brother.
Yep.
Months ago.
Yes.
And just now, the guy who had written something, who had been signed on for a couple of years, he found out on some article.
Yeah, he found out the same way everyone else did.
Does Lucasfilm not have phones or
do you not
email?
have phones?
Yeah, I know.
It's your quote.
It's a good quote.
I know.
But seriously, how crappy is that to have this guy? You've been fired for. It reminds me of Office Space. Did you get the memo? You were fired.
Oh, thank you. It's just weird because why are you doing this to people? Don't jerk people around like this. This is the reason they go on strike.
It's one of them, yeah.
It's one of them. But I feel like this isn't the first story we've had where all of a sudden a writer was replaced by another writer and they didn't even know they were being replaced.
No, we just had that a little while ago with the Rey movie, right? I mean, it was kind of like I'd written it and we had a creative differences. Like, how many times have we heard creative differences?
AKA it didn't say what we wanted it to say, so...
Just write it yourself, Kennedy. Just sit down and do it. If you can't accept anything but what you exactly want, then you sit down and give us Star Wars. I mean, of course, not being serious, but you get my point.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, nothing. Lucasfilm has just been so poorly managed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's because, as I've said before, because we have a spotlight on it. As Star Wars fans, we kind of keep very close tabs. I'm sure other companies, other studios have problems, but are they this bad and we just don't hear about them because, again, it's not Lucasfilm or it's not brought to the forefront like it is for Star Wars? Or are they just this piss poorly managed?
Well, it's not just that they're poorly managed. I feel like, I don't wish ill on Donald Glover or anything, but I feel like he did kind of steal that role from the original writer.
Oh, you mean his brother?
Yeah, he's co-writing.
Oh, I see what you mean. He's taking it from. I get what you're saying.
He's literally taking it from the other guy.
Well, I mean, what
you
are you
want
gonna
me to do this? It feels weird. It's like blackmail.
Well, it sounds like It just sounds like a crappy situation all around.
Yeah.
It's been 2.5 years. When you announce something and 2.5 years later you're finally like, yeah, we're getting it together now. It's like, has this ever really been a thing? Or
has it?
Is it going to be a thing? Should we actually believe you this time? But we hear that so often with Lucasfilm. We've been waiting years for movies, and now they finally announced 3, and we're sitting here are they really going to happen?
Where's my Rian Johnson trilogy?
That's never going to happen.
Is Lando?
I mean, I would say it's a coin flip. If Donald Glover is on board and he's writing it with his brother, it sounds like they want to do it, right?
Depends on everything's going to depend on the strike. The strike could be changing everything. With these companies not making money if they can't put out these products, you really think they're going to be making more products if they can't afford it because they're not making any money on what they've got? They don't have a stream of revenue coming in if their movies aren't going out, which means projects will be getting canceled or have severe budget reductions.
Well, I
mean, there's problems all over with this strike. I mean, we've talked about the problems that the companies are going to have, the problems that the actors are having, the problems of everybody who works on any set in movies is having. If your writers are gone and your actresses and actors are gone, you've got no need for that person who does the filming, no need for
post-production, pre-production, set designers, costume designers.
Caterers. Gosh, it goes all the way down the line.
Yeah, I mean, there's no need for anybody. But yeah, I've been reading a lot about this, and apparently the strike is, a lot of people are predicting it's going to go on for a while yet, and this could lead to, some even say, the downfall of Hollywood. Now, I don't know how true that is, but certainly an interesting situation with Lando, an interesting situation with the strike, and all of this. So, for now, though, I think that's all we got for you this time. Now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of any and all of today's news, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.